Just as funny as them thinking that they can replace the Irish. They don't have a sense of themselves. They really believe that they're going to go somewhere and not stick out like a sore thumb. And I'm just looking at them. They're over there doing Heil Hitlers and trying to be Nazis and forming all kinds of weird groups and trying to outdo the Germans as far as being Nazis now. So they're taking on a lot of people's personalities because they don't have a personality. They don't have anything. Everybody's culture is more developed and more interesting than what they have developed, because you can go country to country and it starts to become a blur where they have the same kind of music, or, well, I'm thinking about the Caribbean right now, but they'll have the same drum circles, the same general dances over wide swaths of the continent. And it doesn't start to get more interesting until you get to East Africa. But these people really do have underdeveloped countries. So when they say things like, oh, she needs to get in touch with her Benin heritage, no, like, what is that? It's going to be the same thing as the rest of it, banging on drums, doing a few carvings, and weaving a basket. It's not going to amount to anything. It's not going to push anything forward. It's not something that they want to even talk about. If you try to speak to them about it, they won't even admit that that's their culture, when in fact it is. They don't really have anything developed other than the lies that we formulated for them to have a backstory. So although they think that they can take over, they can't, because they're not smart. They're just any other immigrant coming over here, going to school and getting a job. They're not charismatic. They're not cute. They're not sports legends. They have zero sports legends in Africa. The only time they can get noticed is if they come over here and get on a team of all Black Americans. There's no area that they're going to take over of anybody. They just don't have it. And every time they start to pick up some speed, they get caught doing a scam. Every time they are successful, it is a scam. So just remember that. Somebody's doing good, it's a scam. And it just hasn't been uncovered yet.
Right. So yeah, it's a scam, and we're identifying the issue, and that's the first step, is identification, which is, I'm very proud to be a part of this. Kush, what are your thoughts? Are they trying to? Why are they trying to replace the Irish and the English and FBAs? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
So, my thoughts on this, and I was watching something about Genghis Khan and Chinggis Khan or whatever, and they were saying that his name, what is his name? His actual name, Temujin or something like that, was actually taken from someone that his father had conquered. So it was a part of their culture to, if this person were conquered, we'll take that person's name and we'll pass it on and so on and so forth. And so I think to some extent, not just in Asian culture, but African culture, or these hunter-gatherer cultures where people have not evolved, they think that in some way, assuming the identity of, or ingesting, in some ways to me, they remind me of the pale faces, in them trying to assume the identity of others because they don't have an identity of their own. And so what better way to become somebody than to flee where I'm from and then assume the identity of who I want to become. But they don't have what it takes to maintain that identity. And so I think that some of it could be a hunter-gatherer mentality that they haven't evolved from, but also just the fact that they want to become somebody or something that they can't get it in their own countries in a way. They're never going to become somebody that's relevant in Nigeria or Ghana, or to some extent, again, East Africa has a deeper culture that they've actually documented. And I think that that's also a problem with the West Africans, is that they don't have the documentation to support their culture. They don't have anything to rely on. And so they're just trying to steal somebody else's identity because they don't have one.
And you know what I noticed them trying to do? They realize that people are angry about them just trying to destroy gospel music, trying to destroy rap, trying to destroy country music with their lack of talent, and they just don't have the je ne sais quoi. People are aware of it, so they don't mind being this ghastly figure running around playing Jesus Christ just to rub up against everybody's nerves. It's offensive. It's just offensive. The whole thing is offensive. And I just don't know anybody that I could speak to that would say, yeah, Cynthia Erivo should be playing this role. I can't understand who wants to see this. But I looked at the producers, and it explained a lot. They like to cause problems. They don't care about harming people that are Christians. They want to make black people look like they want to do fucked up things like that. So they use an African who will do anything. That woman will do anything to be in your face. She wants to be the face of Black America. She's an African. She wants to be doing these offensive things. She doesn't care who it offends. She likes doing this type of thing. And they think it's falling on us, but it's not falling on us. It's falling on Africans. Everyone knows that's not us. Everyone hears us complaining about her. So I don't know what they're going to do, because this is definitely a conspiracy. And both of the producers are from a certain background. And it's getting annoying because they've been doing this for hundreds of years, sowing dissension, making everybody hostile toward each other, and you don't know what's going on. All you have to do is look at who's producing this. Who wants this to happen? And behind everything that has been disgusting from Europe to here, there's the same people behind it. And it's getting tiring. Why is your hand black, Dr. Davinsky? Because you got that black girlfriend over there.
I was just about to ask that same question. I wanted him to put up a yellow hand.
I found out I was part
or
FBA.
pale one.
I'm part of the lineage.
Okay.
Before Dr. Davinsky, before he spews his gibberish, I did want to say this about the Africans trying to replace FBAs, and the Ghanaian who was talking about gospel music and said nobody, he's an executive or something like that. And he has influence over our music in some type of way in that position. And to say nobody wants to hear that, not only are these Africans trying to replace us, but they're trying to replace what our culture, what it is, and the origins of history of it. Now, here's the issue that these West Africans are failing to realize. Our history is not an oral history. It is actually documented along with the United States. Our history goes back before the United States was a country, but there was still documentation of our ancestors here. There was documentation of our ancestors who were human trafficked, whether they were the American Indians, whether they were the kidnapped Africans. All of this is documented. Our history is not oral history. They look at us as if we are like them. We're not like them. Our history is not oral history. So coming in and saying, oh, nobody wants to hear those runs in gospel, just say you're not able to do that. Just say that you struggle lyrically, musically, to be able to do those things. Vocally, you just don't have it. Just say that instead of being, as the young people say, a hater. But the other thing I wanted to say about Africans trying to replace FBAs, we see these what we consider to be FBA or non-immigrant Black American celebrities going over. And I don't think Lauryn Hill is, I thought she was Haitian, but I thought somebody tried to say she wasn't. I don't know. So I don't really have time to get into her lineage. But even Sierra, Lauryn Hill, these people going over to Benin, getting citizenship because allegedly they traced their lineage back to Benin. We still see these tribalistic Africans doing the same thing to Sierra that they did to Beyonce. Oh, look, hey, this nigga is trying to make Africa. She's using this music. She is not Ghanaian. She is not this. She is not. They're complaining, saying that Sierra needs to go and be a housewife. She needs to do this. She needs to do that. They did the same thing with Beyonce when she did Black is King. And you know what Beyonce did? Beyonce went in the lab and created Cowboy Carter. These same Africans turned right back around and said, oh my goodness, look at this. She is MAGA. She is out here believing in the white man and that flag. When she tried to big up Africa and y'all little funky artists, y'all said that she was doing too much and she didn't understand the culture and that she was not your queen. Okay, fine. She's not your queen. She done went and bigged up Black American culture, and now they complain about that. They try to replace, but at the end of the day, they're never satisfied. They're always going to have a void.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to ignore them, because you can't please them. Once you realize that you can't please them, like I said about Los Angeles's superficial culture, if you don't have a fancy car and a mansion, then you get treated like trash. Oh, you're not good enough. Your car's no good, blah, blah, blah. Why do you live over there? You living over there with your mama? You hear all that. And then when you get the mansion and the fancy car, they're still mad. Oh, who does she think she is? Oh, living up there in that. Then you get a whole nother group of circumstances, but the result is the same. They don't like you anyway. So that's where they fall in my book. No, nothing we can do they'll like. They said that country music was, white and American, which is Black and American, and then they're over there doing it. They're over there singing gospel songs. Name a Nigerian gospel singer. You can't. Nobody wants to hear that. They're no different than Chinese people singing gospel music. There's no difference between them. In fact, the Chinese people are probably better at it and more technical, because Africans don't feel the need to be in tune or in rhythm. That's a side thing, where here in America, it's not on the side. You're going to be in tune and you're going to be on the beat. That's not, that's not optional, but it is over there. Being out of tune is something I hear a lot from them. So I don't know what to say about it. There's no facet of anything that they are going to take over, because go look at what they did over there. Nothing. Their whole culture is based on running away from those places. They're so happy that they can jump on a raft and get out of there. They don't know what to do, because they weren't always able to do that. Can you imagine living somewhere where your whole life is dreaming about floating on a raft to another place? That's the Caribbean. That's all the Caribbean. And if you think Mexicans are just the only people running across the border, no. They'll float over to a raft to get to some place where they can get to and through Mexico. And that's everybody. Because a lot of these people's passports are blocked and they can't come here very easily. They have to go to places where they can get there and then overstay their visa and run across our border. And that could be any place in South America. It could be any place in the Caribbean. I don't know all the, comings and goings of the visas for each place, but I am 100% sure that an African could get on a plane and fly to some place that will let them in and then walk right across the border with the Mexicans. And they have been doing that. Caribbeans have been doing that. They have been arriving every which way. A lot of those people are not legal. And I tell you, I just learned something that they have machete gangs in Australia. Why does Australia have these Africans running around? Who is doing this? Well, guess what? I know who's doing it.
Well, Wani, I'm really glad that y'all prompted me to put Ireland in the title, because what I didn't know before I did research on this topic is that West Africans are flocking to Ireland in droves. Did y'all know that? Now, um, according to the BBC, Ireland only has a total population of 5.3 million people. Somebody fact check that, but 5.3 million. And West Africans are regarding it as the paradise country. Why do they think Ireland's a paradise country for them? That don't make any sense to me. Well, anyway, back to the point. Ireland is kicking them out in droves. So what I don't understand, y'all, that really baffles me is I've been to West Africa. I'm really fortunate. I had a chance to really explore West Africa. And I'm not a hater. West Africa is gorgeous. It's beautiful. You got the sea, you got resources, you got food. We were walking through the rainforest in Togo, and it was like fucking pineapples growing out the ground. I didn't even know pineapples just occur naturally, just coming out the ground like that. Like, it was like,
I thought they were on a tree. I don't know anything about how food is made.
I saw a pineapple. It was, what's a good, like, you know how watermelons grow? It was like that. It was on the ground. I'm saying that because all you got to do is reach down there and grab it. You know what I'm saying? So this, back to the point. Why are they leaving? Why don't they just stay there and get some act right, get some straightening to whatever oppression is there, and build that beautiful place up? Why are they running to Ireland?
Because there's too many Nigerians in Nigeria.
They're running away from each other.
They don't like Nigerians. They're gross, according to Nigerians.
Wow. Well, Dr. Claude Anderson says that in Black Labor, White Wealth. He says the following. Let's find it. He says that, quote, Black West African sense of community was narrowly and divisively based upon tribal origins rather than the commonality of black skin and collective racial destiny. He says a lot, but that's enough right there, ladies and gentlemen. That confirms what Wani just said. They're running away from each other. Again, look at those terms. Their sense of community was narrowly and divisively based upon tribal origins. So Tribe A is running away from Tribe B, and they're going to Ireland and creating Tribe A in Ireland against the Irish. They're becoming tribalistic against the Irish. My question, y'all, is how the fuck do they think that's going to work?
I don't know, because it looks like right now the Irish are in a mode of, they're stunned, to be honest. And unfortunately, they're all domesticated. They're domesticated. They have some block that's stopping them from establishing some concentration camps. There's a block. But they literally need to make sure no rafts reach their shores. Actual men need to make sure that that doesn't happen, because you can't just let people raft up to your land and then step on it. If your government is going to let them in and give them resources, you as a man in Ireland, you're going to have to defend your land. There's nothing you can do. Your government is being controlled by someone who wants anyone in there. So you're going to have to do something, make it uncomfortable, so they don't feel comfortable, because they're very comfortable. They're pulling every card. They're using our talking points. They're doing things like Cynthia Erivo is doing right now, being Nosferatu Jesus. Yeah, so she's doing that. And if you complain, she'll say you're being racist. She'll pull our black card. Lady, get out of my country. There's no Nosferatu card. And when you find one, you go pull it. I don't even know what that is. I haven't established that that's actually a human being. So I don't even want to talk about it. But that thing will pull our card It'll pull, oh, you're being mean against gay people. Oh, you're being mean against women. Oh, you're being mean against because I'm black, quotation marks. That thing will pull every card in the book. And she's over here doing disgusting acts, blasphemous things. I'm not even Christian, okay? But I was Christian culture. I was raised with Christian culture, okay? I would be offended if she was playing Prophet Muhammad. I would be offended if she was playing Krishna. I would be offended if she was playing the Buddha. I would be offended no matter what she played because she's offensive. She's offensive looking. I would just be offended. I'm offended every time I see her. I didn't want her to play anything. So you know I'm not happy. She is offensive, and she knows she's offensive, and she's going to get away with it because she's going to pull every card in the book. Oh, they're just against me because I'm gay. No, you are offensive. Go away.
Yeah, they're again misusing the rhetoric we created during the civil rights movement. It's being misused by a whole bunch of groups. But back to Ireland, ladies and gentlemen, do y'all know since 2023 there has been a 156%. Number one, how is 156% possible? But 56% increase of African illegal migrants to Ireland.
Oh my God!
A 156.
They were saying that. They were showing their map, and they said we're a small country. Why are we getting all this?
Yep.
Guess what? Ask your government. Your government is being puppeted.
Yep. And this data is coming from the BBC. The BBC says asylum applicants in Ireland has risen by nearly 300%. I got a theory on that. I think that that Bantu migration that we talked about a month ago that went from West Africa, went from West Africa to North Africa to East Africa, and they kept getting kicked out, and they discovered France and England. I think England and France are done with their ass, so they're looking for somewhere else to go, and they've targeted Ireland. They've targeted us too, but Ireland is like under attack right now by African refugees, man. Like, just stay home. Africa's gorgeous. How hard is that?
I agree. They don't have the skills. They don't have the skills to build Africa up. They have just enough skills to chase some wild rat or wild animal, chase it, grab it by the tail, throw it in some bowl-like thing and bash it over the head. And I saw somebody with a video. They had like some wild rat or whatever that they grabbed out of the bush and just had the thing holding it by the tail, bashing it until they mushed it together and then made some type of mush patty. So where the Jamaicans are making beef patties, they're making rat patties.
And they didn't take the fur off, correct?
No, They did not. It was not skinned at all. No, it was just a live rat that was fighting for its life. And the rat lost. And this is what they do. But I was looking at, so to your point, Professor, about Ireland, I think the Irish Times, I found an article. It was behind a paywall, so I tried to screenshot as fast as I could. But behind the paywall, they were saying that their population in 2022 is at like 7.1 million. And it was an increase. What did they say? This was an increase since the famine or whatever. I'm not really familiar with the famine. I know they had a famine or whatever. But let me see if I can find the screenshot. The population of the island exceeded 7 million for the first time since the famine and grows by nearly a third in 20 years. So they're having population issues. I doubt if they are seeking Nigerians as the people to help augment that population, because God knows, like, again, I'm a genetic snob. And I don't see any Nigerians who would fit the bill to help me top what my mother and father did. I'm not saying, I'm just saying So I doubt the Irish, considering their genetic gene pool, that says a lot. But the other thing that I thought was interesting is that these Nigerians and a lot of these immigrants are alleging that they're seeking asylum, but they're not seeking asylum because of religious persecution or what's the other one? Religious or ethnic persecution. Like, they're not fleeing for those reasons. And that's why the United States is actually starting to do a lot of research, and why these hunter-gatherers are turning on each other and saying, hey, listen, hey, my cousin, they have gone back to Nigeria for a holiday. So these people alleging that they were having, I'm being persecuted in Nigeria, Boko Haram stole my sister, whatever, right? These people are going back and forth to Nigeria on holiday, out here doing TikToks and Legos, talking about Black Americans ain't shit, blah, blah, blah. But you told the United States that you were being persecuted for ethnic reasons. Why are you back on holiday? These governments are seeing that these people are running scams left and right. It ain't really all the, and again, not saying that it's not some violence over there. There's violence everywhere. But these people really aren't fighting for their lives. The same way they can go up there and grab a rat by the tail and bludgeon a rat, grab some of your fellow Africans and bludgeon them if need be, since you are so strong and you are fighters.
Well, Kush, you hit the nail on the head. According to BBC, a spike in the arrivals from UK. Stop right there. So the Brexit has created a rhetoric in England to get people to fuck up out of there. England ain't playing with their ass, but.
Black students, we need to know our history.
The black history we're being taught in public schools is repetitive.
As a black high school student, I want to learn more about my history in the school books.
We need to update our books.
As Black American students, we deserve an accurate depiction of what history truly is.
I want to see myself in these textbooks.
In the public school system, Black history is vague.
Why don't the school books ever talk about the Freedmen's Bureau?
I created the workbook for the African American family. This book helps fill in the gaps that the school books don't. Purchase the workbook for the African American family on OurStoryPublications.com and use the Cash App, $Our Story Publications.